Yo, 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 everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to a Regan Benson panel chat with my good friend FLUKEDOG. Hi, Fluke.
Hi, how you doing? All right?
Good, good. I am so glad that you're back with us. It's been long overdue. We
It's
probably
been
have.
actually. I looked it up the other day. I thought, so when we did that last live stream, it was a year and a half ago.
We should do these about every 6 months at the
Yeah,
longest
yeah.
wait. Yeah.
But,
So
but you're
yeah,
busier than I am, so
yeah, it's
it's
a little crazy. It's crazy here for us in Denver, Colorado. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to recent videos that have been published by Denver Metro Audits, but if you have not, you should go over to his channel and take a look at some of the videos we've done recently together with some cop watching. Still encouraging people to record the police. If you see something, say something. And that's kind of what brings us back together today, huh, Fluke?
yeah.
We're going to talk about an incident that FLUKEDOG was involved in. And for those of you that don't know or haven't been with us before, FLUKEDOG is right outside of London in the UK, right? I'm about 30 miles outside of
Yes,
London.
south of London. Yeah, so
Yeah, okay. And much of what happens in the UK, I think, mimics what happens in the States, except uh, their police are just a little bit, I don't know, is dumber the right word? I mean, ours are dumb.
but the thing is to do what they do. I mean, I'll be honest. I always post everything that I video and whatever, if it's an audit or whatever, I always post it, whether it's a good reaction, bad reaction, whatever. I don't care. So I did a video once where we filmed the Metropolitan Police Training Base, which is based in Kent, on the same weekend that we did the barracks audit, and the two police officers that arrived were very, slagging off the security guards, saying they shouldn't be coming out and speaking to members of the public like they spoke to you. We're going to go up there and have a word with them, blah, 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 blah. And it was a great video. I think it had 175,000 views, and every comment in the channel was, what a great couple of coppers, what a really good police officer, blah, blah, blah. Asked for ID and we refused, and he'd be, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, and blah, blah, blah. Just complete opposite of what happened at the barracks. And that's the same police force on the same weekend.
And that's Kent, right? I just put a link in that, link to them in the chat. We're talking about the Kent police. Is that correct?
Yeah, Kent police, yeah.
So explain the demographics to us as far as where you're at. And by the way, everybody, I think it's like 7:00 in the evening for Fluke, right?
Yeah.
So we'll keep this at about an hour conversation. But if you've got questions as we're going, I'd love to pop them up on the screen for Fluke, because he uses words that I don't know what they mean. It's the dialect, the vernacular is a little different, and I love it. I find it fascinating, and I find all of this very educational.
So a few people in the chat have said hello to me, so I just want to say hello. Thank you. I'm glad to be back on.
Right on.
The lovely Miss Benson's channel, Mrs. Benson, should I say? How is Mr. Benson?
He's well. He's getting ready. The Broncos will be on here shortly. Football, soccer.
Okay. Send in my regards, won't you?
Of course. Yeah. So Fluke's gonna fill us in his words on kind of where he's at and this one particular situation 6 years ago, right? It's more than 6 years.
Yeah, I think it was 6 years, but it's probably a bit more than that. But originally, when we published the video, that was probably about 6 years ago. Maybe
and then we'll watch a little bit of it. But give us the background.
So we went to film in Kent that weekend, and I don't subscribe or promote this guy's channel anymore because he was lately convicted of an offence, and I don't want anything to do with him. So if I mention the word Spitshine69, which was the name of his channel, I don't want anyone to go and subscribe to it. Okay, so if I mention it, it's only because 6 years ago, you know, he wasn't convicted of any offences. So, but I drew a line under that when he was convicted. So that's why if I mention it, then, you know, if I mention it in that video, it's because that was 6 years ago. Yeah, so we just walked up. We did some videos around the prison in, which was strange because the guard, one of the security staff at the prison, came out. I was on the opposite side of the road as a backup cameraman, if you like. And this security guard said, "You can't film here. You can't film here. This, that, and the other." And this guy came out who was quite smartly dressed, and he stopped the security guard and he said, "No, leave them alone. They can film out there as much as they like. It's fine." And it turned out that when he spoke to the other guy I was with, he said, "No, look, I've told them that you can film out here. It's not a problem, you know." And it turned out he was the assistant senior prison officer or whatever. I don't know what you call the boss in charge of a prison, but he was the vice person in charge of that prison. So it started off on a good, and then literally around the corner was the military base. So we went round there, obviously on a public sidewalk, public footpath at all times. And it just went from shit to shit to shit, one thing after another. And the whole detainment was only due to the fact that we wouldn't identify ourselves, right? They never took our cameras, they never took any SD cards, they never did anything like that, etc., etc. It was all about, as soon as we refused ID, then Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Butthurt Police Officer.
So your cops do crack for ID too, right?
Yeah. So, and it's not, and this is when I say this is about government as much as it is about the police, because the police is an arm of the government. You know, they're the enforcement arm of government. They force what the government tells them to do, whether it's right or wrong from a mental perspective, or a kind of, rather than, they do what they're told rather than doing what's right. You know, from a human perspective. You know, because they are essentially like your guys over there, just order followers. I'm just doing what my boss told me to do, is their constant excuse. Do you know what I mean? So it escalated and escalated. You end up with 4 police officers, a police sergeant, a police inspector, and on it went, you know.
What's an inspector?
Inspector's like one of the top guy, if you like. It's like if you'd have a supervisor on shifts at your place. So
a sergeant, a captain, a lieutenant.
So
our military structure. How's your military structure? I mean, our cops are a form of military, so yours are too. So are these the same ranks?
So how it would work is you'd have a PC, which is police constable, which is just an officer in your case, then a sergeant, again using a military term,
or just an officer.
And then or an officer would be bottom line guy. So then the sergeant would be in charge of the officers. And then the inspector would be in charge of all the sergeants. As he's kind of top of the rung, if you like.
So a lieutenant.
Yeah.
And then does it go higher?
In your parlance, it would be a lieutenant, but for us, they're called inspectors.
Does it go higher than an inspector?
Because then you have the chief inspector, who's over the inspector, and then you have a national association of chief inspectors, who actually brought out the police guidance on public photography after they lost a court case that went to the European Court of Human Rights, which disbanded them disbanded one piece of the legislation. Because in that piece of legislation, it was called the Section 44 of the Criminal Justice Act. It referred to photographers being allowed to be stopped and searched without any reasonable suspicion that they were a terrorist. This was revoked by the European Court of Human Rights, and the police had to replace the government had to replace Section 44 and replace it with Section 43, which means they had to have reasonable suspicion that you were a terrorist to search you under that act, right? Now, all the police did was just went and abused Section 43, just like they abused Section 44. You know,
what's Section 43?
It was replaced with Section 43, and then they just abused Section 43. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, they abuse the law when it suits them, and then they want to use the law against you when it suits them. That's government for you.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Let's watch some of this. So you've been outside this military base filming for a little bit here, and
no, literally we turned up, and you can see in the background of that screenshot, if you like, that's the kind of entrance area. We've been literally walking up the road for about a minute, and it all starts. It all kicks off.
And on a public footpath, so.
Okay, so when you've been asked what you're doing, why can't you tell them?
This is the police,
Well,
So that's the police officer speaking to me.
Okay.
Told them about how many times have I told them? I'm taking a picture of the tank.
Yeah. I'm going to take some of your details, mate.
No,
that's all right.
No, need the reg number of this car.
What, our reg?
You're not.
Yeah, for free.
No. Fortunately, you're not. What law have I broken?
We're outside the Army barracks.
This is public.
You do realise that it's heightened terror threat at the moment as well.
Threat?
Yeah.
All right.
There's a heightened terror threat.
On an army barracks?
Flipping hell, I think they've got enough guns in there to.
Yeah, just tell me when to stop.
Yeah, so if you, again, the same situation occurs with guys in the States as it does here. And it's the same with, I know some auditors in Australia and New Zealand, and obviously in the UK as well. They use the same, it's straight to terrorism, you know? So you have to, by giving your ID, it doesn't tell, it doesn't say Mr. Nigel John Russo, address, blah, 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 a suspected terrorist. It doesn't say that on my driving license. So what fucking difference does it make if I give you my ID or not?
We have to worry about the police. There are domestic terrorists here. They don't. I don't. It's weird because we don't have any of those laws. I mean, we have our Patriot Act, right? But we don't have terrorist laws here. We just have to worry about the government.
Well, the government is a terrorist organisation, isn't it, in of itself?
There's a man with a blooming.
If you look at the definition of the word terrorism, that's what it says.
So why you're here?
I don't give my details, sorry.
So you're refusing to give me your details?
I don't have to give you my details.
We do.
On request?
I'm not obliged to give you
in a case like this,
we're declining your request.
That's fine, but just as long as you're aware that it could mean if you refuse to give me your details, we can arrest you for that to ascertain your details.
You can't.
Bullshit.
There's no criminal offence committed here.
We don't know your purposes of being here.
I told you for the 10th time, 100th time, we came to take a picture of the tank, and we didn't get a chance to do that. We were approached. They said they'll call in the police. So rather than run, we waited for you guys to come out of respect
yes,
to
mate,
you.
It's 14308.
Right, thank you.
So rather than bugger off, we thought we better wait, because otherwise you're going to be chasing us all around town trying to find out what we're doing.
Who's the dude with the cane back there?
That's we call him Sergeant Stick. They're called I think they're called colour sergeants. They're like drill instructors, if you like.
So he's from the military base, though. He's not with the cops,
and he's got his stick there because it used
What's
to
he
be.
going to do with that stick? Is he going to beat you with it?
I don't know. I think I actually looked it up. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was so long ago, but I looked it up about why these sergeants. I think they're called colour sergeants because you've got a sergeant, and above a sergeant is a colour sergeant, and traditionally they would have this type of walking stick that they would poke the soldiers with if they didn't dress right, or sort your badge out, young man, or poke them in the belly and say do some more press ups or whatever. It's just a complete authoritarian thing.
So if that was a female, would she have a whip? Because I would like a whip.
I'm sure you would.
So
I'm sure people would pay you for it.
Agitated at the minute.
Well, yeah, because I'm being questioned about something that's perfectly legal.
They reverse it on you. They reverse it on you by saying
I don't give anybody my details. No one. Least of all government officials.
If I've broken the law,
if I've broken the law, you've got the authority over me. If I haven't broken the law, That's it.
Okay, but just to confirm, so you know, that if you provide me your details, we can run the checks that we need to know to deem whether there's any concerns against you.
You can arrest me, you can speak to my solicitor, and then you can live scan me, and that's the only way you're going to get my details.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you're refusing to give us your details.
I don't have to give you
I
details.
don't have to.
I'm not refusing because I don't have to. I'm not obliged
Not
to.
obliged to.
At the minute, your behaviour is deemed as suspicious. You're
Suspicion
in
is
an area
not a
where
crime.
security
Suspicion is a matter of
frightens.
opinion.
Yeah.
Isn't
Okay,
it?
well, I'm
You
deeming
might
it
find it suspicious. He might not find it suspicious.
as are these gentlemen here.
Are we
So-
being detained at this moment in time?
You're for the minute, yeah, you're going to
Yeah.
be
So
detained
what
for
crime
purposes
do you
with.
suspect me of committing?
At the minute, you're not going to give me your name.
So
That's not a crime.
is it?
If I'm
What
asking for
crime
your
do you
details,
suspect me
And
of
I'm not
committing
obliged to
detain
I
give
me?
don't know because I don't
You
know
don't
the
know.
purposes of why
So
you're
Am
here.
I being detained or am I not being
At the minute,
detained?
yes, you're not
Well,
to move
what crime do you suspect me
until we
of
can
committing?
ascertain your details.
That's not a
That's not a
crime.
crime.
If
If
you
I'm not obliged to
crime
give
do
them
you
to you,
suspect
then there
me
can't be a
of
crime,
committing?
can it? It can't be a reason to detain someone if they're not giving you their details, which they're not obliged to give you.
in order for
That
us,
doesn't.
Where is this again, Fluke? Exactly. Some people are asking
This
in the
is
chat.
Maidstone Barracks in Kent, in southeast England.
In Kent.
It's an army barracks.
Make
to
any sense
clarify
whatsoever.
who you are.
You don't have
and
to
whether-
clarify who I
In a
am.
situation like this, at the minute you're posing a
That's
threat.
why we live in a free country.
We can't guarantee why you're here.
It's just a bit concerning for us from our point of view.
Your concerns don't trump my rights.
Which
You're
is
right.
yeah,
There are some-
Exactly.
there
So
are
your
also some
concerns and
general
these
concerns here.
gentlemen's concerns don't trump my rights at all. You know, I haven't broken any laws. We're not going to break any laws. Leave us be.
You've obviously been at the
Literally.
BAE place as well as today. Is that
I
right?
don't know.
No?
I don't know.
No? What are you taking photos of there?
I don't know.
Just very suspicious behaviour, that's all.
Yeah, well,
public
it's really
photography
good that we
can't
live
be
in
suspicious
England.
if it's legal. Do you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? If
Suspicion
it's like
is
say, if I'm
not-
driving down the road at 30 miles an hour, you can think that's suspicious because I'm doing 30 in a 30. It can't be, can it? So taking
what
pictures
we're-
in a public
what we're
place
deeming as
can't be
suspicious
suspicious.
is the fact that not only are we asking you about this, you're very irate on the situation. You're now
Yeah,
refusing
because
to
your
give
question.
Irate?
See that?
What?
How many
What?
times do this is the escalation tactic? They do it in the States all the time. They reverse it and blame it on you. It's your fault that we're here. It's your fault that you won't answer questions. It's
Uh-huh.
your fault. You know, it's victim blaming is what it's called.
What would happen if I had this interaction with her and I told her to go? "Nyeh, nyeh."
Yeah, you know, what can they fucking do about it? Nothing.
Did she
You know what I
arrest
mean?
me on the spot? What if you
know,
quit
again, this is the problem we have everywhere around the world. It depends on the police officer. These are a bunch of butthurt police officers, right? The guy in the previous video, which I didn't send you the link to, was cool as fuck. And the lady police officer that was with him in the car was cool as hell. We explained what happened. He said he would even go up the road and speak to the security guards. He says, because they shouldn't be acting in that sort of manner when there's members of the public involved. You know, complete opposite to these coppers. So this is the problem. Coppers are like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, that rings so true in every damn interaction.
Questioning me about doing something that's perfectly legal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a bit
questioning
cheesed
you
off.
about your details.
And
so that
I'm
we
not
can
going to
run
give you my
checks.
details.
See, this whole
But
detail.
what reasonable suspicion of what crime?
At the minute, the way you are videoing, you're saying that
Is it illegal to video from a public place?
At the minute,
No, it isn't.
That's-
And the only reason we're still here is because they called you. And to stop you from chasing us up and down the hill and back into town, we waited for you out of respect. Otherwise, you'd be chasing us all over. Because all we want to do is go straight up there and straight back into town.
Yeah.
We checked all the maps, we checked all the, rights of way and all this sort of
Right.
So we know where we're allowed to be. We're allowed to be here. So therefore, we're allowed to photograph it. Anything we can see from a public space, we can take a picture of.
can you deem
The
how this would
response we
be
get-
perceived as being suspicious?
No, because it's
You can't
legal.
understand.
It's legal.
If it's legal, how can it be suspicious?
Okay, but from anybody looking at what you're doing, they don't know until you've explained that you're aiming for this tank. All they can see is you going around here.
That's what God gave us a voice for. So we can ask.
Did you at any point ask for permission to film
I
it?
don't need to ask for permission.
We're on
It's
public place.
No, but do you not
Because
think...
all right then, so why have you got CCTV cameras all over your police station? I don't agree to that, even though it's a public place.
We haven't got them. We've got them.
You haven't got
CCTV cameras are, but they're in a town centre. They're for the purposes of anything.
But, yeah, but I
keep
don't agree
safety.
with it. That's suspicious to me. Is that you'll have to take them down and stop it.
Well, it's the whole point of the photography thing is the fact that CCTV didn't come into use until the 70s. Cameras have been around since the 1800s. So it's the reason that photography is allowed, that they're allowed to put CCTV cameras up, because when you're in public, there's no expectation of privacy. Because it's like if you're say you're in your back garden and I can see it from a public space, I can take a picture of it.
I went out the side of that gate.
Not that I would.
Yeah, by all means, you know what I mean.
Obviously, if we go on their property, we're in banging bother with this bloke's going to knock me to the ground, isn't he?
But it's still the element of why you're videoing. Nobody that is
For the 11th time,
God.
they came to take a picture of the tank.
If you let me finish,
drives me nuts.
what I was going to say is prior to talking to you, nobody knows what you're doing. So it raises suspicion
Yeah.
because they don't know
And-
why it is you're videoing it.
We've got all the respect in the world for these guys, right? You know, they put a butt on the line for us, you know, to keep us safe as well. When we come up here and they come out at us, they don't come with you like, wasn't this chap? You know, he starts barking orders at us, threatens to call the police, and then walks off. You know, how are we supposed to have a conversation with someone like that with respect?
Okay, but then
You know?
when me and my colleague have arrived, you've done the same thing. You've refused to comply or engage with us.
I don't have to comply, do I?
What in the hell is she talking about? You've been talking to her the whole time. If you
See, this is the victim blaming that they do.
uh-huh.
It's about blaming the person that they've been called on. They don't
know what I call
investigate
this?
anything. They
This-
called, so you must have done something wrong, is the assumption. So
Well,
everything she's going on is assumption.
This is an attempt to self-incriminate. She wants to keep you talking. So at what point do you stop talking? Do you?
Well, no, it's like, you know, it just goes on. It went on to the point where eventually my camera battery died. So that was the end of that. But then when we spoke to the solicitor and we said, right, this is what I want to defend a case if there's ever a case against us, and what we want in response to our claim for compensation for violation of our rights. We want all the telephone calls related to the incident, all the radio traffic related to the incident, all the body camera footage related to that incident, all the names and collar numbers of every police officer involved. And all we got was the names and collar numbers of the police officers involved. They didn't
Can you
give
not
us
get their
1
names
second.
right there?
Sorry?
Can you not get their cards, their names, their badge numbers right there on the spot?
Yeah, we did. If you went back a few minutes, you'll see the other guy asking the lady for her name. And collar number.
Okay.
And then they said, at the one point they come to search us, and I said, I'll tell you what, why don't you go first, and I'll film you being searched, and then you can film me being searched. You know,
Is that on here?
That was on here as well, and we were literally just joking about it because it becomes so farcical at that point. All you could do was take the piss, you know. But they never gave us not 1 second of body camera footage, not 1 second of any telephone calls or radio calls or anything. After a freedom of information request, they refused it all, and they gave us nothing to do with any of the phone calls and radio traffic that was
Well, where
involved.
they criminally charged you.
No, they didn't criminally charge us. They ended up letting us go.
Oh, that's right. Is this his body cam right here?
Yeah, that's it. Because
But
he
they
was saying
detain you.
he's the one that said, when I said I'll record you getting searched, the other guy I was with, and I said, and then you can record me getting searched. And because we were laughing about it, you know, they got even more butthurt, you know, because they thought it was an intimidation. They thought it was an intimidation tactic to search us, and we didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? And he's the one that turned around and said, "Oh, we're recording it all on our body cameras." Yeah, but when we want the body cameras, you just refuse to give us.
Yep.
Great.
So-
Same thing that happens in the US. It's no different anywhere else.
No, we don't need to give them a report.
We'll just have the reference number for the search and we'll go from there before.
And we'll go around there. We'll go down to your station, probably request that, and get your body camera. Probably request that. Also, the 999 call that was made, we'll probably request that one as well.
Yeah.
Perfect, that's for me.
Yeah, that's the one.
This one.
Is it a 101 or 999?
Major emergency. Oh no, there's a terrorist with a camera. Jokes. Yeah, I've got calling numbers, yeah.
What are they writing down?
Oh, I don't fucking know. They weren't writing our names and addresses down for sure.
You never ID'd, right?
No, we didn't in the end. But what they did was, I was caught in a bit of a conundrum because where I parked my car, we were limited to the amount of time we could spend parked there. I think it was about 3 hours. And it got to about 2 hours and 15 minutes in. And I thought, right, on top of everything else, I don't want my car clamped because that's going to cost me another £100 to release my vehicle. You know, and I'm not going into all that for the sake of it. So it got to the point where I thought, right, we've got enough on you now to sue the granny out of you. Do you know what I mean? So I don't give a shit. So I said to the inspector, I said, you send one of your boys down to this car park and babysit my car to make sure it doesn't get clamped, and I'll give you my ID. So I did it under duress. I forced him to make me do it under duress. Right. So he then sent the police officer down to the car park, found my car, gave him the reg number of the car, and he drove down there. He put a note on the car saying, police aware of this vehicle. I think I've still got it somewhere. The actual note.
Oh, really?
I think I've still got it somewhere. And it was like, police are aware of this vehicle. Do not clamp it or tow it, blah, blah, blah. And he parked his car in the car park to keep an eye on the car. Now, so when your man's down there, he radios you, tell him he's looking after my motor, and then I'll give you my ID. The other guy I was with still refused his ID, and they never took his ID. So I gave him my ID. Now, the thing was, something I learned from auditors in the States was I registered my car to a different address, right? So whatever they found out about that car was all registered to a different address. So even if they wanted to retaliate against me, they'd be going and knocking on someone's door who absolutely detests the police anyway. So that's all they're going to get.
Where does this get juicier? Does it get any juicier here?
Just more coppers. Another 2 police officers turn up, then the sergeant. And then and that's when the battery, I think, runs out. So that's when the video recording stops. They're just wandering around, dicking about on their phones. And this is the other guy who's gone out filming. He's got in closer to the base now than before the police were called.
So he walks away from everybody.
He just walks away from everybody and starts filming again.
And you're still over here with him?
I'm the one holding the camera. You can see him with his backpack on there by the police stuff. So I'm zooming in on them guys because they're the ones that started it.
That's one of the things I was going to do. Sometimes. Yeah.
They're both independent, but do sometimes grow up together to get stories.
Yeah, well, we need to, in this day and age, you've got to have each other's backs because you get.
Yeah, this is the other thing. I mean, I don't know if you've obviously. I'm not exactly built for the army. Just a bit like him.
Big nuts.
Yeah, big nuts in the sunglasses. He's the one with the
biggest Fluke up there. Ever. We've just been stopped and searched under the terrorist act.
Him?
No, not him. You'll see him in a minute. He's wearing the wrap brown sunglasses.
Oh, and Mark Dingleberry's on patrol.
This is the guy here with the sunglasses on.
Right here?
Yeah, have your name and numbers, please.
I'm not bashing him over there.
Force number's written right there. Yeah, that's
right
what you're
there.
entitled to.
Right here, right there.
Right there.
Sorry, don't answer questions.
No, you're asking for our name.
Yeah.
So perhaps you'd like to identify yourself.
No, I'm all right, thank you.
You know, and then
we're just waiting for his unique reference number, and then we'll be on his way.
What are you doing here?
Huh? Sorry, don't answer questions. I've already answered all the questions I'm going to do.
Okay, I'm still going to ask them.
Okay.
No, but anyway,
No explanation of what you're doing here.
I've already explained myself to this.
And these are military guys, right?
Yeah, those 2 of them.
What?
The thing is, the guy on the left in the picture was absolutely pretty cool. You know, he was like, well, you know, we sort of had a chat with him, and he was actually pretty cool. It was the drill sergeant, Mr. Stick, that escalated the whole fucking thing. Do you know what I mean?
Is it him with the stick or no? Is he gone now?
No. These 2 guys here in the picture you see were okay. You know, they still didn't get the whole concept of why we were there, but that's irrelevant. It was
Right.
the Mr. Stick, the sergeant bloke with the stick earlier. He's the one that escalated the whole thing and called the police.
And she just
And
runs
there's
her mouth.
800 men on that base who are trained to kill, right? And there's 2 photographers outside, and this is what you get.
This is
Talk about an
crazy.
overreaction.
I mean, in the car that's
And
writing
it's
up
the
his
guy with the
report.
sunglasses gets the arse
Okay.
ache.
So
That police officer walking
What annoys
away.
me a little bit is the fact that I'm out filming in public place.
you're both at a
It's
military
my hobby.
site taking
It's
photographs and videos.
Someone saying to me, "Oh,
You not
I
see
saw
how
you
that
play golf
looks?
on the golf course." That's suspicious.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean? It's kind
so just for my own sort of education then. So if the guy, so you were obviously felt aggrieved with the way, in fact, in the way in which the guy spoke to you. If it had come out that differently, you'd have taken your photographs and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why are you still here now then?
Because they said they were ringing the police.
The point is if you call the police and we bugger off, then they're going to think we're up to no good, and then they come chasing after us. So that's why we're waiting.
Thank you.
Best thing to do in this scenario.
I rest my case, Your Honour.
Not doing anything anymore.
Shall we move?
We can get all the information anyway.
We can go to the police station and get that. Yeah. Right, are we being detained in?
You're still taking a minute in your search records.
That's all right, we've got it, then we'll go to the police station and get them.
No, you're still detained for it, guys.
I'm just check the battery.
He's such a cunt, this one.
So I've got more money.
I've got my spare with me.
So how long by now have you been detained?
Well, that's pretty much all I edited out was the bit that we were waiting for the police. So that was probably about 10, 15 minutes. So now this police officers, we want a copy of our search record, which they're supposed to supply immediately. And then she's trying to delay the whole thing while they have a little conflab on their own about how they're going to get our IDs.
What's a search record?
Search record is when they stop and search you, they have to give you a reference number to say when they searched you, what time they searched you, what date they searched you, the reason that they searched you, which doesn't matter if you have a search record or not, because they have to log it every time they do a search on somebody. So we could have just gone to the police station and said, right, we've just been searched in town, blah, blah, blah. This is the police officer's name and number, blah, blah, blah. And we could still get the search record, right? So it's not relevant. So for her to carry on detaining us so she can go to the car and get the search record is bullshit, because the search record's done over the radio, right? And it's logged. As soon as they start searching you, they have to log the search record. So she already has the search record. She's bullshitting at this point because she's saying we have to go to the car to get the search record, and that's bollocks.
Okay, but they haven't searched you yet. Define search here. I'm
right. Totally... I'm not sure if the search actually. I can't remember where on the video, but basically, they video him being searched, and then he videos me being searched, and of course they don't. Nothing obviously happens because we don't have anything on us bar cameras. That's all we've got. We sneakily exchanged my car keys without them noticing. So once they searched him, I gave the car keys to a friend of mine, knowing what they're going to do in the States. They'll go and hunt around for your vehicle to get your ID from your vehicle. Same thing here. Right?
So let me back up to that search thing, though.
Yeah.
Is that the same type of concept as probable cause? And they ended up, did they end up searching your car?
Yeah, so what we did was they ended up de-arresting us because we were under arrest. So they have to do a process called a de-arrest where you're no longer under arrest. And then I said to them, they said to me that we want to search your car. And I said, that's fine, but you're doing it under duress. I'm not giving you consent to search my car, right? And another thing I did from watching American videos was made sure there was fucking nothing in my car. Nothing. Right, all I had was a power bank that attaches to my car's battery. So if I want to charge camera batteries or any other equipment, I can do it in the boot of my car while I'm driving to an audit or whatever. And the rest of it is empty. All that's in the car is the manual for the vehicle, and that's it. Other than that, it's empty. Right?
Search record. They search people here all the time.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be the same thing as a police report. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but in the UK, they have, if they're searching you, they have to log it as a search, whether it's a car or a person or whatever. They have to log it as a search because you're entitled to a copy of that should you have to go to court or whatever else. I know what it's like in the States. You've got people who don't understand their rights. They get searched and there is no record of that search. It's on the street. It's like, you haven't got a bike light, so we're going to search you. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And on it goes. You know, I've watched Tom Zebra a lot. Is the cop watcher in the States, and I've watched him for years, and I love that guy. And he was saying, he explained it very succinctly in one video that he did. It was like the police stopped this guy on a black guy on a push bike who didn't have a light. You know, so what they do is, this is the compounding of the problem. So they give him a $200 ticket for not having a bike light that costs $5, right? And so then now the poor black guy can't afford to pay the $200 fine. So he's now got a warrant. And because he doesn't know his rights and he gave his ID, now he's got a warrant out for his arrest for not attending a court and paying the $200 fine. So when he gets pulled over the next time for his bike light or not having one, he's going to give his ID again, and they're going to drag him into jail for violation of the £200 fine that he hasn't paid for the first bike light violation.
Does it work the same like it does here in the States? I know each state is different. Like everybody complains that Colorado doesn't keep people in jail long enough. So do you wait? You go sit in jail?
No, we don't. No, generally, as a general rule of thumb, unless it's a serious offence, then you would be held in custody for a court appearance. But that court appearance usually happens in 2 or 3 days or whatever. It's only if it's a mega serious offence and they have to start applying to the judges for extended time for you to be held in prison before your court appearance. Whereas what happened with us, there would have been pointless them taking us to the police station, you know, and it just served the purpose that I did ID on the basis that they babysat my car. Otherwise, they weren't getting my ID. The other guys still, even when they released us, took us back to the car. And we got video of us in the back of the car, the police car, taking us back to my car.
Seriously.
And do you remember Philip Turner, the guy that used to do the Second Amendment?
Turner versus Driver.
Turner versus Driver. Now, the police in that video hotboxed him, didn't they? They put him in the car handcuffed and shut the doors and turned the AC off, right? And hotboxed him for like 45 minutes. So when the police took us back to the car park, it was a quite hot day, actually. It was about 27, 28 degrees that day. And my car had been locked up for like 4 hours, you know, so it was baking inside that car.
Yeah, what was the temperature?
27, 28 degrees. So probably about, I don't know what it is.
Do you do everything in Celsius?
Yeah, sorry. So you do it in Fahrenheit. So whatever 28 is in Fahrenheit. So it's warm. And inside the car, it's twice as hot, you know. So when we got out the car, the police car, we were walking up to my car, and I don't know why it came to my mind. I remember hotboxing the cops, and I thought, oh no, I was going to shoot the video, and we're going to hotbox the cops because I'm going to make them search my car. So I've got a remote control for my car, and if I click and hold the unlock button and hold it down, all the windows stop and all the coupe rear windows open, and it starts releasing all the hot air out of the car. So I didn't do that. I just unlocked it. So they had to get in my car with all their tactical gear on and everything to search it. And it was absolutely baking in there, right? And the funny thing was, I don't know how I thought of this, but it was kind of brilliant in retrospect. So once they finished searching the car, I opened the boot because there was nothing in the boot because I'd emptied it. The boot, the
trunk?
Trunk, sorry, yeah, trunk.
Is that in the back or the front of your vehicle?
No, the front's the engine, the trunk's the boot.
Okay.
So what happened was, when the police got out of the car, the woman police officer who was searching the car, and there was a gentleman, a male officer searching the passenger side of the car. It took them 10 seconds to search the car because there was nothing in it, right? So they got out, and she said to me, crikey, it's warm in there. And when she said that, I've hit the unlock button and it drops all the windows down. So I made them search it with all the windows up, you know, so it was boiling in that car. And as soon as I dropped all the windows from the key fob, she looked at me with an absolute scowl on her face. She knew that I didn't drop those windows on purpose. So I mean, so she'd have to search that car. At her
I
own
just
risk.
don't understand the Is it? Did you protest under duress because they had no probable cause? I mean, that's what we would that's what we would state here.
Yeah, and but the thing is, we explain that to them at least 10 times. You have no fucking crime. You have no reason to ID us. And the thing is, in the UK, even if you're suspected of a crime and you are arrested, you still can be booked in as unknown at the police station. You still don't have to identify.
Really?
Yeah. Because and it doesn't help your scenario because they'll just make things even worse for you. But legally, you still don't have to identify, even if you've been arrested.
Well, you don't here either. I mean, you don't. But yeah, of course, they'll strip search you and say that you're suicidal and because you're not cooperating and put
it's
you in a
your
cell.
fault. Yeah, the victim blaming comes in again. Your fault because we got suspicion of you doing something. No, it's a camera. You know, fucking go fuck yourself. You know, it's simple as that.
See, but that would have been my vernacular out there. And I
know.
How would that have panned out for someone like me? What do you think would have
again
been
the problem you have is it's not your freedom of speech or the words that you use, it's how butthurt the police officer gets. He might be one that goes, yeah, okay, well, fucking he's calling me a wanker or whatever, or this, that, and the other, or then, you know, and he might just think, well, fuck it, I don't really give a shit because, you know, it's his freedom of speech. Another police officer gets all butthurt and his ring piece starts going, you know, and he can't fucking handle the fact that somebody's telling him to fuck off, right? And they'll arrest you for it. Do you know what I mean? Because the consequences aren't on them. The consequences end up on the taxpayer who has to fund the, you know, whatever the
what are they going to charge me with? Disturbing the peace?
Oh, they'll think of something. Trust me. You know.
Is there enough laws on the books that they could?
No, a breach of the peace in the UK is effectively what it should be in the US. A breach of the peace is a threat to harm a person and or their property. That's a breach of the peace in the UK. Right? Breach of the peace is not standing on a street corner shouting the word sausages. Right? That's not a breach of the peace. But they like to use that here and convolute it into something that it's not.
What kind of response would I get outside the police station with a sign, fuck that cops, or chalk?
Again, it depends on the butthurtness of the officer, doesn't it? One police officer, we might stand outside my local police station with a sign saying, I hate the police. And you get a couple of coppers probably just drive by and go, right, he's obviously not too friendly, let's bugger off. Or you'll get the next person comes out and he's butthurt about it, and you get a different response. So it's not about the law anymore, it's about people's feelings. Mm-hmm. Officer butthurt gets butthurt about it, and the officer doesn't give a shit, drives away and ignores you. You know, so it's not inherent on what we do or how we do it. It's about how they respond to it. That's the problem, because I'm not forcing them. I'm not forcing them to illegally search me, batter me, falsely imprison me, handcuff me, and search my car. I'm not forcing them to do that. They're coercing me into cooperating with it, and I refuse to cooperate. That was their problem. As soon as I refused to cooperate with them, that's when it went south.
They never handcuffed you, did they?
Yeah.
They
I was
did?
in handcuffs for 2 hours.
Oh, and we don't have that, do we? We don't have that part of the video where you sat in the car.
No, the full unedited video I've still got. So if you want, I'll upload it again and send you the whole thing. But it's only 45 minutes to an hour of it was caught on video, because when my battery ran out on my camera, the other guy was only using a GoPro, and those things only last about 45 minutes.
Yeah. How so? At this point in this video where we were watching, how do I get back there? Do you see that? No. How long does this go on?
The whole thing about 2 hours.
spare battery as well.
So is this where did so the battery goes dead here? Obviously, but where are you right now? Are you in the car?
No, so at this point I'm in handcuffs and my camera's pointing upwards towards the sky. And the police officer says, if you want, you put your camera in there. So again, the camera's not the problem. They didn't take the SD cards. They didn't film anything. They didn't re-watch what we'd video recorded or anything. Because obviously what we said was obvious because that's exactly what happened. And all you're going to see on the video is Mr. Stick coming out, barking orders like a lunatic, you know, for two people on the footpath doing
they would have had to follow process and book that into evidence, right? I mean, it would have had to.
But there was no evidence because there was no crime.
Right. So
the only crime here, right, was a failure to ID, which isn't a crime.
On a terrorist watch list, standing in a public place taking pictures.
This is
That's
the problem
what I mean.
you have.
It's insane.
We're arresting you both for especially preparing acts of terrorism.
Preparing acts of
they're
terrorism.
arresting you for terrorism?
Preparing acts of terrorism.
What?
False arrest, assault with battery.
Otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Absolutely.
Oh, nice. You've got the front bit and I've got the back bit. No comment.
Okay, so the necessity for your arrest is to prevent harm being caused to other people, to enable prompt and effective investigation of those offences.
So we've been. Oh dear.
See, all this just for doing something that's legal. All this for doing something that's legal.
The suspicion is that it's not
No
illegal.
suspicion. It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
You could give us a good reason as to why you were doing that.
We came up here to take a picture of that tank. They came out barking orders.
Yeah.
They said they were phoning the police. We waited for you. End of story. That is where we are.
Right. I'm not happy with
Now,
that
because
moment.
they came out and said they called you, out of respect, we didn't walk off because we didn't want you chased. Because we didn't want you to chase us all around the town trying to find us. So that's why we stayed. We stayed out of respect. All right? This is what we get for staying.
Do you want me to take that? I'll just pop it on the thingy on the seat. I don't want you to drop it. It's
He's the reason that we're all here. All because of him coming out and being rude. Well, if you come out of us with a bit of civility, mate, we might not all be standing here. If you came out with a bit of decency. Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your 24 hours in the nick.
In the nick. What does nick stand for?
Nick, custody, basically.
Oh, really?
So the sergeant, the colour sergeant with the stick, is the one saying, enjoy your 24 hours in the nick.
Yeah, that little prick. He'd run in his mouth.
And then what happened? No, we got a lift back to our car. We hotboxed the police and then we got let go. So it didn't kind of work out very well for Mr. Stick. You know what I mean?
Is this?
It's just an ending for this video, just to save me typing it all out, basically. At the point where the camera goes in the back of the car, we're in handcuffs and we stay in handcuffs for 2.5 hours while they run around like fucking idiots, making phone call after radio message after God knows what else. Eventually, after 2.5 hours, we were de-arrested, taken back to my car, and they searched the car. We videoed all of that as well. So I'll probably put that up at a later date or in the next few days or whatever. Eventually, the sergeant turned up and the inspector. So we now had 6 police officers, 4 PCs, a sergeant, and an inspector. And in between a lot of them, they still couldn't, because there was nothing. There was nothing. They had nothing. It's as simple as that. But these people just feel like they have to, use their authority whenever they want. Oh well, it's what it is. So yeah, after 2.5 hours in cuffs. yeah, they finally let us go. So we have FOIA requested all the information, the URN for the phone call, and the body cam footage, etc., etc. So that's already been done. Something else. Oh yeah, I shortened the video down because on my camcorder alone I had about 70 minutes worth of footage, and not all of it was the arrest, but just bits and pieces that we shot while we were there. So a lot of it wasn't really relevant. A lot of it was one of those circular conversations, where is it legal? It's suspicious. Is it legal? It's suspicious kind of conversations. So a lot of that bullshit I've just taken out because you can't put a video up that's that long. It's just the basic nuts and bolts of the video is just to give you a bit of background. You can see we did a normal audit approach, and the usual filming and stuff, and it is what it is. But right, I'll just put this on the end so I don't have to type all that stuff out. So yeah, it is heavily edited, although I obviously have all the original footage and everything, so not a problem in that sense. But yeah, so just an easy way for you to keep updated on that. But it is what it is, and I'm planning at least another 3 audits in the next week or so. So they're just going to crack on.
Sorry, Nasty Nathaniel was in the chat, and I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. For some reason, I can't join the chat. So if you see something come up and someone asks me a question, can you?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't want to think I'm ignoring people in the chat, because I'm not. And Soapman's in the chat as well. So
yeah, you're not able to see the chat, or you are?
I can see the chat. I can't respond.
You can't interact in there to post.
Yeah, I can't sort of answer questions or anything.
Oh,
but if people have questions, just if you can ask them, and then I'll just do it on the video.
Sure.
By the time I've typed it out, the answer, I can explain it quicker than I can type.
Yeah, I'll post it up there. But yeah, Nasty Nathaniel, thanks for being in here. FLUKEDOG is the original UK auditor. He was doing audits long before auditing Britain, which admittedly, I just don't watch. I need to, because that's where I could learn more. But I would just rather hit up our friend FLUKEDOG and go, what's up? How does this work? See, now for me, being in handcuffs for 2 hours, I would have had to pee 3 times. How would that have gone down?
Yeah, exactly. But
what would they have done with me? Would they have taken me to jail?
Sat you on a potty or something with your hands behind your back.
Would they? What would they do?
I don't know. But I think if I said to them, look, guys, I need to take a fucking Jimmy Riddle, right? I'm going to wet my fucking pants. It's up to you, because you can put me in the back of your car with fucking piss-stained fucking jeans if you like. Because it's your car, not mine.
Their seats are fabric. Is that what they... Is that... They don't have the specialized plastic formed seats where they stuff you in and then strap the seatbelt over you with the arresting vehicles. They don't have the specific vehicles for transporting people.
No, the thing is, the police cars here, it's different when you get into vans and stuff like that. Then they've got the cages and blah, blah, blah. But a general police car in the UK is just literally open the doors, chuck you in the back, shut the door, and they're locked from the inside, so you can't get out until they open the door. So generally the same. But it's just one of those things that, that there are very subtle differences between the police's actions in the States and the police's actions here. But as a general rule of thumb, it is government authority coming down on you like a ton of bricks for doing nothing.
Do they make shit up? Like, would they?
No, they made the whole fucking defamation shit up. You couldn't make up more of a fucking problem. They got a solicitor accusing me for defamation over something I published 6 years ago that has a 1-year statute of limitations.
But let me back up before you jump into that, because if they didn't get what they wanted at that point, is it like them to do the things they do to me? Like, we'll just write a warrant for her. Yeah. And then we'll activate it when we want to arrest her again. We'll just go make some shit up. And do judges and stuff, do they put up with crap like that there?
Again, it's very, you have to be very objective, because if the bent judge is a bent judge, or a bent police officer is a bent police officer, he's coming from a subjective perspective, not an objective perspective, and that's the difference. And it can happen in anything. That could happen in a political discussion, the discussion about, you know, cancer rates. If you come from a subjective area, oh, I'm a vegan, therefore, you know, if I studied it, and vegans are less likely to get cancer than people who aren't vegans. No, because you're coming at it from a subjective viewpoint, you know.
They don't like you.
And it's biased to their beliefs is subjective, yeah. Whereas objective is someone has no belief on the subject whatsoever and comes at it from all angles and looks at the whole subject independently without bias. So, and that's the difference between subjective and objective.
So the short answer is yes, depending on what group of judges in that area that you're going to have, right? So, fast forward to this. So, yeah,
I love this bitch. I love her.
This is crazy. So, fill us in a little bit as far as the steps that you took and how she enters the equation. Oh, man.
Right. So this is the solicitor that defended the police, or tried to defend the police's actions. And when they realized they weren't going to get anywhere, they settled out of court. So she then sent a letter to my solicitor some months after they settled out of court, and claiming that there was 2 YouTube videos that they were going to make a complaint about, in which I didn't even mention Kent Police, right? And claiming that I defamed Kent Police. So she was going to bring action against me for defamation unless I removed the videos, right? So I refused to move. I said to my solicitor, I'm not removing the videos. It's not defamation because I don't even mention Kent Police. So I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. So when I looked her up online, this is her profile on Waitman Solicitors, which is a massive solicitors company with offices in 3 major offices. London, I think it's London, Manchester, and I think there's one in Newcastle as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they've got 3 major offices in the UK, and they defend the police in lawsuits against them. And you can see from there, and you can read it for yourself. In the last paragraph at the bottom.
Yeah, sorry, I had to step away there for a second.
No
yeah,
problem. Wait.
Look at this.
Do you want to read it? I can't really
Nicola
read it.
enjoys. She enjoys keeping up to date with recent legal developments. She has previously delivered training on the rising trend of quote unquote police auditors and how to manage them. I love this word manage, as well as virtual training to in-house police lawyers on the most common civil actions against the police. Now, why in the world would there be any civil actions against the police?
If they didn't civilly abuse you.
That's
the only reason. You know, you're defend. See, this is another correlation, if you like, because people get abused by the police and don't realize they have a recourse, you know. So what these people are coming up against is, say somebody who was in the same position as me at the barracks, so they didn't have a camera and they didn't know their rights, and they said, oh, here's my ID and blah blah blah. They've still been violated and handcuffed and searched, you know, but they don't realize there's a way of recourse, you know. And because the police get away with it so much without getting sued, suddenly when they do get sued, then they revert to butthurt, you know. Butthurt lawyer for the police gets butthurt about police auditors, you know.
And yeah, so
and then they kind of justify their own actions by coming after me for a defamation case that's actually statute barred. They can't do anything legally about it. And even if they tried, there's nothing in those videos that even mention Kent Police. So how can I defame a police force if I don't even mention which police force it is? That's how dumb these fucking people are. And fuck knows what she's getting paid.
Right. Were you ever able to figure that out? What she walks away with? Can
Well,
you do
if
records
they're
requests for that?
that company that's charging the police is charging a minimum of £300 an hour, £500 an hour.
Which is how much for us?
£500, about $750 an hour. She's charging,
Mhm.
and
So
she's slightly biased here, isn't she? Just slightly biased. Police auditors, the rising trend of police audit. So what I've done is I've got a friend of mine who's going to email her and say, what is a police auditor and what training have you done on these auditors? Well, how does this work? And just send her a basic email like that and see how she responds. Because I'd love to see it.
Will she respond? Will she engage with the public, or is she considered private counsel? And see how they respond to our records requests is it's attorney-client privilege. We don't have to talk about this. You could do a records request to find out how much, our city.
We could, but the records request is generally reserved for public entities. This is a private company defending the police, so they don't have to respond to a public records request. So I thought, well, the easiest way to do it is get a friend of mine to email her directly and ask her the questions about what she's put in her profile, right? And say, can you give me an idea about what this is about? I have no clue about police auditors. What are they? You know, what training have you done on these? Why did you need to do the training? You know, just put in a general query, if you like, rather than a request for the information, and see how she responds. So
I just want to take a little break here and just do a little housekeeping. I never talked about the scrolling across the screen and the QR code up at the top left of the screen. If you can donate to my nonprofit, please do so. Interestingly, it's in the 60s and it's supposed to be 70 degrees tomorrow here in Denver. This is unseasonable. I'm sure all the environmentalists are going to be freaking out here in the next legislative session, and they're going to be like,
oh God.
Yeah, things are going to go nuclear here in Colorado. And for those of you that don't know, they are shutting off our power. The monopoly on, private relationships that the government ends up with one Excel energy company for our power here. We had some wind the past few days, and so they did the rolling power outages, as fire prevention. And like we've never had wind in Colorado before, like we've never had forest fires before. We've had a couple bad fires over the past 5 years or so. And so the best thing to do now is just to cut off power. So if you're a business, a medical facility, a hospital, whatever you are, just a private little old taxpayer with your entire family meal in your refrigerator for Christmas, if the power company is going to turn your power off for days on end, you're just SOL, and you're going to pay for it, and you're going to like it, and you're going to keep your fucking mouth shut. So my whole point in all of that is our next legislative session is about to start in Colorado, and it's going to be another shit show of how to force people to do things that just a handful of people have an agenda and want to get done. Denver sucks. It sucks in Colorado. It sucks in a lot of places in the United States because people won't stand up and fight for freedom. So for those of you that follow my nonprofit, you know that I am out on the streets where the rubber meets the road in doing direct street outreach with the most vulnerable populations to exist. And I fully believe that a society is defined by how it treats its weakest, sickest, and poorest. And if we're going to allow the police to do it to them, they're going to do it to us as well. So you're either going to stand up for the weakest, sickest, and vulnerable as a means of standing up for yourself and others, or you're just going to be steamrolled. And unfortunately, like Fluke and I are talking here today, very few people are standing up for their rights. I think more people are interested in picking up a camera, but as we can see, when you do that, the government just doesn't play fair. They don't like that camera. And if they were doing things right, they wouldn't care if they were getting caught on camera. So they do care. So this whole concept, Fluke, and I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but just real quick again, donate if you can. My point is the weather is good here, But when it's not, it's not. And we have our coldest months coming up. So I want to be prepared. I have at least one outing of 3 to 4 days worth of warm gear now. But if we have a cold spell, that's going to be gone. So help us help people stay warm and get to shelter if you can. But back to this concept of picking up a camera and telling everybody it's easy. You can do it and you should do it. Look, there's a caveat to all of this. And I'm an example in the United States. There's many more of me. Fluke is an example of if the government wants to shut you down, they're going to. And I've shifted away from telling people, look, recording is easy. You can do it. No, you have to have a brain to do it as well, because you can hurt the movement of transparency when you go out there and you are easily intimidated and shut down. You'll hear some of the older auditors, long-term folks out here in the States say, you're going to get arrested. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So you got to be prepared. And in my cases with the nonprofit work that I do, legal expenses are a real thing. And, you know, there's a lot of good public defenders. What do you call them in the UK? What is a public defender equivalent to, Fluke?
A public defender would be anyone who's not on the side of the prosecution, basically.
What do you call them there? Is
A defense counsel, pretty much like you would describe the same thing. But the difference we have here is there is no discrepancy. Like in the States, you have prosecution lawyers who earn double the amount of defense lawyers. And then you've got defense lawyers in the US poking you, the defendant, for a plea deal. You know, because they're not going to earn money out of the case, because the courts are biased, the prosecution's overwhelmingly highly paid to prosecute you, and the defense attorney isn't highly paid to defend you. So the system is constantly working against the people. So at the end of the day, someone might go, okay, I'll get an ankle tab and I have to sign on the probation for fucking 6 months or whatever, and blah, blah, blah. You're still caught in the system, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Whereas we, to a certain degree, we don't have that here. There has to be massive amounts of evidence against you.
So incarceration, your incarceration rates aren't as high as they are in the US.
No, not
right?
for the mundane bullshit that auditors get arrested for, and even like bullshit like, you know, you cross the road in the wrong place and all that crap. We don't have that here, because in the UK, pedestrians have the right of way. So even if I walk across the road right in front of me right now, in the middle of the night, right, it's incumbent on the driver to stop, not for me to go and cross in a certain place, right? That's the difference.
We call that jaywalking here. And
Yeah.
to Denver's defense, Denver ended jaywalking as a municipal charge.
Oh, fucking
we can
hallelujah.
We can freely cross the street now in Denver without a cop.
Without getting squashed.
Yeah. That was one of their tactics, was to hem up people for filming them and crossing against the light.
And the other thing I'll make a point about is this is the information age, right? So the more laws you can drag up, even for trespass, I've seen on your oath civil and rights investigators do this. Even simple trespass, they want ID. They want everyone on a database. That's what they want. You know, any interaction, whether it's a good one or a bad one, they want you on a database because you've had an interaction with the police, right? Now, that's the problem, because it doesn't differentiate between you, whether you've had a good interaction, a bad interaction, whether you were doing something illegal or not doing anything illegal. It's irrelevant. It's about getting everybody's ID on a database somewhere. So you'll flag up on some cop's computer in a car, and they're in their office, and they put your name into a system, and bang, there you come up. I was arrested under the Terrorism Act. That arrest has been quashed, so they can't use that against me in the future, right? So that's been wiped off.
Was that considered an
well,
arrest?
No, what happens is once you're de-arrested, everything that you were arrested for is null and void,
De-arrested. It's really a thing.
Yeah, they de-arrest you. They actually give you a reverse version of your rights. You know, when you're a police officer, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to pay this. Anything you can say will be used against you, kind of thing. That's when you are arrested. In the UK, we have a de-arrest system where they do a reverse version of that, without admitting any guilt that they've done anything wrong, of course. So therefore, you're now de-arrested, and that doesn't go against you.
And that happens all in one fell swoop, as it did with yours.
Yeah, but I don't trust it anyway, because at the end of the day, we've still got GCHQ, which is kind of like your NSA. They're just a massive data farming, thing where it doesn't matter what you do, when you do it. If all these people are just willy-nilly going, well, I didn't do anything wrong, here's my ID, they're on the database. It's that simple. So it doesn't.
Is this one of your friends here?
Oh, sorry, that's Wayne. Yeah, I can't answer your call, Wayne. I have to ring you back.
No, is this one of your friends here in the comments?
Where's that?
Give me rights protectors and public prosecutors.
That sounds a bit American.
I don't know. I don't recognize this individual, but I like their commentary.
But it's like this. Oh, actually, I think I've got it on. That's my T-shirts here. Hang on. So this is GCHQ with the crown, right? And then this is your equivalent. This is the British equivalent of your NSA, and it says underneath, "Always listening to our customers."
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think the ultimate takeaway from all of this, and it goes beyond the barracks audit, and it goes above any audit I've ever done in my life, is the fact that we're living in a data age where they have to have every bit of information about you that they can, because that it's like the old saying, anything you say and do can be used against you. Do you know what I mean? And this is the problem we have. We're now living in a digital version of that word, of that sentence, if you like, where any interaction you have, whether it be good or bad, is irrelevant. You've had an interaction, and that's what's listed. And that's the problem.
And right here as well, in this public forum, and I have not told anybody this because it's part of my criminal case, because I think some people, a lot of my people are going to be pissed off to know that the Denver Police Department, in this last arrest of me, submitted a warrant to Google. And this is going to be a little shocking and piss some people off that are watching this, but the cops are watching me right now. The cops are watching us. They're watching my channel. They're watching for a word or a phrase that they can string together. And they already did it to me. They wrote the last warrant on for me based on a live stream. And they admitted that they were sitting there watching it. They put this shit in writing and admitted that they did not arrest me as an imminent threat. Okay? But here's where things went really south, and which is a little bit worrisome. They submitted a warrant to Google for 6 months of every single thing that has gone on my YouTube channel. They want every single subscriber's name, personal information, payment information that they've submitted to Google. They want every single video and every single comment made on my YouTube channel in a 6-month span. I want people to understand the desperation and the level that government is willing to go to when you are exposing them. And so far, Google, I don't think, is cooperating with this warrant. I don't know. I was in court on Friday on this last misdemeanor charge for a statute. Get this, Fluke. For a state statute that's been used twice since its inception in 2003. twice. And both times it was dismissed. This state statute is so unconstitutional on its face, and it has to do with doxing. Doxing protected parties. And cops are one of them, right? I'm not going to get too much into the details of my case because it's coming along just as we need it to. Not going to lie. But they are that desperate to try to find something on me that they can continue to build a case on. I've got zero violent history. I have never been convicted of, or even accused of any type of crime where there's a victim. This is the other thing that we don't talk about enough, are these victimless crimes. And why is this the role of government? And why are we continuing to allow this? I would think that a civilized society, Fluke, would see you, would see me, and there would be this rising. Well, there's not, because people are scared to death. We are living in pure tyranny. And people think that it's not quite tyrannical yet. We're just not quite there yet, probably because people think it involves starving to death. And I say it repeatedly. I do not think a civilized society is going to spring into action until they are starving to death. It has to be a physical pain. And people watch us who stand up to these wrongs, and they say, I'm not going to do that because look what's happening to them. They're doing a good job, and I'll make a YouTube channel, and I'll hide, and I'll cheer them on and tell them great job. But I'm not going out there to do that shit. And here we are.
I think if I could, sorry, I just wanted to interject quickly there. We were talking about, you know, the nature of what the police are doing to you, you know, going through your whole YouTube channel, your subscribers, all the people that have donated to you, all of their private information as well. This is not just ridiculous on the face of it, but the worst thing is it's fucking so insidious the way that they're doing this. And that's the worst thing, because everybody in this chat, everybody who's logged on, you know, everybody that's commenting in the comments section, the insidious nature of this is we're going to be all dumbled into the same block as Reagan now, you know, and that's what you have to realize. There's no hiding from the insidious nature of this digital, what I call a digital panopticon. And I don't know if people know what a panopticon is, and I can mention that if you like.
Yeah.
But
what's that word?
Panopticon. A panopticon, just sorry, I didn't want to wait. But if you're out there and you're in the comments section and you're listening to this and you want to donate, I'm sure Regan will leave you a donate. I've watched so many of her live streams where she's out there fucking feeding and clothing homeless people in fucking sub-zero temperatures and getting harassed by the police for doing it. I mean, that's the fucking, how insidious could your government be? Any more insidious than that? So please go and donate to her. Do you know what I mean? I've done it. I know lots of my friends have done it. Loads of people on the channel have done it. And I just want, you know, I'm not saying you've got to give her money, but if you're going to spend $20, then, and you've got it spare to give away, give it to Regan.
It is. It's the government's.
And the other thing I wanted to say just quickly was the fact that this insidious nature of this is it bypasses people. 80% of the population will do what they're told, and that's what governments rely on. The 20% of people who don't do what they're told, they're the ones who are targeted, right? Because the thing is, it's back to a simple idea of know your enemy, which was Sun Tzu, the Japanese warcraft guy, Sun Tzu, who said you have to know your enemy, you have to know him inside out, right? Now, if you can go, right, 80% of the population are going to give their IDs willy-nilly over any old bullshit, right? then the only people, they only have to then concentrate on 20% of the population to target. It's a numbers game, isn't it? And
I call it a death plan. I call it
Yeah.
government picking winners and losers and deciding who lives and dies.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
That's very true. That's very true. Because it's the same principle applies to the Kent police issue with the barracks audit, as an argument's sake, right? Right. So they spent all that money for 4 police officers, 4 police cars, a sergeant, and an inspector to come out for 2 people not breaking the law. And if you want to play the video, it's the 5-minute video called 4-0 on my channel. And well, if you want to play that in a sec, but I'm just going to go to the toilet quickly because I need to strain me greens, as it were. And this is the thing. All that time and money wasted in a county that has 40 unsolved murders on their books. And they sent all that shit out. You can watch this video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. I'm just going to pop to the gentleman's room.
This one?
Yeah.
40 families without an answer.
He's so cool. I love it. Vroom vroom. Love it.
All right, guys, just a quick one. This pertains to mine and Spitshine 69, and if you've not subscribed to Spitshine 69, I suggest you go and subscribe to him. He's just put up another couple of videos involving the boys in blue, the blue bags. Anyway, this little video just pertains slightly to the barracks arrest and subsequent de-arrest and subsequent non-crime that the police were investigating that day of 2 photographers taking pictures of a tank that was on static display. Now, this was in the county of Kent, in the east of England, southeast of England. Now, while doing some research for another video that I'm doing, I came across this story and followed it up, and I'll do another video on it maybe at a later date. But this is the question Kent taxpayers need to ask themselves. Is it pertinent for police to send 4 PCs, 4 police constables, a police sergeant and a police inspector out to 2 people photographing in a public place, when in Kent there are currently 40, that's right, 40 unsolved murders. Unsolved murders in Kent, 40 of them. So that's 40 families affected by murder. And the police seem to think it's pertinent to waste 6 police officers for 2 people not committing a crime. So if you know anybody that lives in Kent, send them this video.
But apparently that's not defamatory, because they didn't pull that video up when they made a complaint about defamation against me.
So they're trying to call Fluke out so they don't have to settle for what
No,
they
they
did.
settled and then tried to get me for defamation.
They settled and then tried the defamation claims
by putting up 2 videos that are statute barred. Legally, they can't do anything because they have to make a complaint against defamation within 1 year of it being published. And those videos that they complained about are both 6 years old.
So
and the one where I actually do slag off, which is the video you just shown, they actually do slag off Kent police, they never complained about. That's how lame these people. And this woman's supposed to be a fucking Queen's Counsel, a fucking high-ranking solicitor earning £500 an hour. Do you know what I mean? And she doesn't understand what statute barred is and what defamation law is. Well, she must think I'm fucking stupid or something.
But do they? I mean, it's not uncommon for them to just throw shit to the wall to see what sticks.
Oh yeah, and it's no different with any other branch of government. If they can throw as much shit at you and see what sticks,
Yep.
you know, then they'll do it
And get a judge. They just need that one judge.
Yeah, and then it's down to them to find the right judge, isn't it? Let's put it in front of Judge Smith because he's always found in our favour. Judge Jones over there, or 50% of the time he goes against us. Who are they going to try and get on the case? They're going to trying to get on the case of the judge that's going to be more, in favour with them. But here we've got a complete solicitor that doesn't know her ass from a fucking elbow, who does training on police auditors.
What's the population of Kent?
I think someone answered this question actually last time we spoke about it, and
look it up.
I think it's like 5 million, 4 million, something like that.
Seriously? Oh wait. So this Google says, well, the broader Kent 24 estimate 1.9 million.
Oh right, okay.
Way off.
I can't remember.
I was just curious about that.
And I'm more. I agree, but the point is, the point I was trying to make in that video was quite simple. You've got 40 unsolved murders on your books, and you're going after 2 people not breaking the law. It's that simple. If people can't understand the basic concept of you spunking your taxpayers' money on this bullshit, when there's 40 families out there who have an unsolved murder in their house, they don't know who killed their loved one, and these fucking wankers are out doing shit like this.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at this. You and your friend did this video. This is what they tried to say was defamation as well, right?
Yeah, this is brilliant. I really love it. It's about 15 minutes long, so I won't.
Military base, right?
What? No, you can't take pictures of a military base.
So the main picture is this one, which is the F-35 there, which is pictured in the background in this picture here, and it's protected by this little wooden fence.
This is funny.
Ministry of Defence. This is typical tabloid journalism. And
that is a real military base with a wood picket fence, right?
And they've got those jets are worth $100 million each.
So you and your friend are kind of making this parody, right?
Yeah. So that's someone taking a video of a US Navy airbase in the UK. He didn't get arrested.
No, you can't take pictures of a military base.
And so that little solicitor, buck teeth girl.
A load of those.
So this was the video that she didn't use?
No, this is the video she complained about as defamation against Kent Police, when I don't even mention Kent Police in the whole video.
So if you guys want to go to his channel and watch this in its entirety, that's pretty good.
It's funny.
That's pretty good. So wrapping it up, you settled after 6 years. What's going on now? Are you still doing audits? Are you still out there?
Well, I've turned my attention. I've been doing so much because I've been helping my mate Soap Man, who's there. He is. He's on the chat there. I helped him do some videos. Do a video, the music video that I sent to you.
Yeah, you're kind of.
Yeah, I kind of did that, and then we got involved with doing. So you've done 3 live gigs at pubs around the southeast. So he asked me if I could record those as well, the live gigs. So I recorded those. Those are on my channel as well. And then now we're now writing a song together called Digital Panopticon. And I was just going to explain to your audience before we leave what the panopticon is. And the panopticon was an 18th century idea of housing prisoners in a circular prison, right? So say you had 10 cells on each floor in a circle, right? Then you'd only need effectively 2 or 3 guards in the middle. of the panopticon, because panopticon means pan, i.e. one, vision, panopticon. You've got one view of sight of all those prison cells. Now, when the prisoners don't know they're being watched, right, then they act accordingly, because they don't know whether they're being watched or not, because they know the guard in the middle of the prison can see them, but they can't see the guard, right? So you then find the prisoners behaving themselves because they don't know whether they're being watched or not. And the problem we have in this day and age is all these devices and computers and emails and YouTube and whatever it is, it's a digital panopticon, and it can be used against you, right? Because you're going to start behaving yourself online, because you can't say fuck, and you can't say shit, and you can't say wanker, or you can't say this, and you can't say that against these people, and you can't say that against those people. People will start policing their own speech, because they'll get a knock on the door from the government saying you said this on Twitter and you can't say that. So people start policing themselves on a digital level. Tyranny always comes in guise of convenience. Yeah. So all these devices and things we have, they sell it to you. It's so convenient. You can do this and you can do that and you can do this and you can connect with all your friends around the world. But they don't mention the fact that they collect all that data and use it against you. Anything you can say will be used against you in a court of law. That's the same thing. It's just a digital version of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing my audits in future based on data centers, because people need to understand what these places are. And I've got one already that's literally a 45-minute drive from my house, and it's one of the biggest financial institutions on the planet, right?
Really?
And they've got a data center they effectively try to hide, right? And they make its employees sign non-disclosure agreements to get a job there. They can't say who they work for, where they work, or anything about where they work, right? Because it's a data center and it's a financial institution, right? But they also try to hide it because on the map of the industrial estate where it is, there's 50 units on that industrial estate, but only 49 companies are listed on the map as you enter the industrial estate. The only one that doesn't exist on the map is that data center, right? These data centers need cooling towers, right, to keep all the equipment cold, because these things will overheat in a matter of minutes if they're not regulated. Cooling towers and condensers have to be registered with the local council, right? They have to have a registration for them, because these cooling towers can effectively harbour what's called Legionnaire's disease, right? So they have to be registered with the council, and they're respected on a regular basis, and they can even do on the spot unannounced checks on these places because of the danger that they involve. So this company decided to, they're based in Surrey, the building's based in Surrey, but I checked Surrey's register of condensers and cooling towers and they're not listed on it. So I checked Surrey, East Sussex register, and they're not on there either. And I checked West Sussex register and they weren't registered on there either. So one that they've gone to the most obscure little council called Mid Sussex, right? And they've registered their cooling towers there, right? So it's dodgy straight off the bat. So that's my next audit I'm going to do. And it's purely because people need to realize how important your data is to the fucking government and the police and everybody else. Because it's your data. You'll be assumed to be guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Yes.
Not the other way around.
Yes.
And I'll give you a perfect example of this. I don't know if you've ever watched like the TV show where you say you've got a business idea and you go in front of some millionaire gurus who started their own companies years ago and have made millions, and you pitch your idea to them. There's a show in the UK called, I'm sure someone can help me out.
Is it a comedy?
it's like it's like, say I've got a business idea and you go on a TV show and you pitch this idea to millionaires who have got their own,
like,
and you pitch your idea and they decide whether they're going to fund you or not, right? It's called Dragon's Den in the UK, right? In China, they've got the same program in China, and what it was this woman who was one of the millionaires on the panel that would take your idea and help you along, progress your idea and invest in your company, was a woman. And to promote the business, to promote the program in China, they had all these billboards everywhere, and her image appeared on the side of a bus, right? Now, where this bus kept moving around China in the main city of Beijing, her picture was picked up by facial recognition cameras, and they would send her jaywalking tickets in the post because her picture was on the side of a bus, and the AI thought that she was walking across the road every time that bus went past the camera. She got all of these tickets, and obviously because she's quite famous, she got it dismissed, all of it. But imagine if you're not famous and you don't have the money to defend yourself, and that's what you got caught doing. Say your photograph appeared, I don't know, anywhere. AI is going to pick it up and go, you were in the wrong place at the outside of your 15-minute city, or outside of the area you're supposed to be in, or you went on the train or the bus when you shouldn't have gone on it. Then you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we already have that.
That's the problem we all have, and and the agenda is the agenda. It doesn't matter what country you live in. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter whether you're in the northern hemisphere, the southern, whether you're in a third world country in Africa or a first world country in the United States or the UK. The agenda is the agenda, and that's to make everything fucking digital to the point where you're too scared to say anything because you'll be policing yourself. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, it's a scary proposition, and it's just I guess if I didn't have children and grandchildren, I could just be like the rest of the population that doesn't give a shit about the next generation. But it's supposed to be
this is the thing. I mean, Letsovo, I'm not sure if I'm pronounced that right, just subbed to me on YouTube, so I appreciate that. And Soapman is just saying there, that's the song we're working on. It's called Digital Panopticon.
I'm excited for that.
So that's cool. And I just wanted to say, hate to do a quick, I know you've got to go, darling. Hang on. Ooh,
do your plug. I need to get over there. I am so desperate.
So that's the album. This guy has literally produced the whole album himself in his studio, in his back garden. And
check that out. Hold it still. Hold it still. Let me see.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I've covered up the
soap. I love it. Right on.
And then he's credited everybody that worked on the CD for him, like the people that played the backing music, the violinists, the guys who played the drums, and his brother-in-law who's the bass player. And he even credited me in this because that picture is the one that I took of him when we were out shooting You Lied to Yourself video.
Nice,
and
right
that's
there.
On the album on the inside of the album as well. So he's a super lovely bloke, and he deserves all the help. If you want to go and buy his, we can put the link in the description. Soapy, you're out there, mate. I know you're in the chat. If you put it up, if people want to go and check out his music,
what is it?
And there's one link which is, hang on a second, let me just bring it up quickly because I forgot where it is. Soapy, can you put it up, mate? And then it's called Bandcamp, online bandcamp.com, I think it is. And on there it links to his Twitter, his Facebook, his YouTube channel, and everything else. If you want to play that out as an outro for the video, that'd be brilliant.
Where do I find that?
Bandcamp.
Play on.
Where's the link gone? So
yeah,
I'm just trying to find the link. Hang on. So
I have the Facebook one. Well, nobody can put links in my chat.
Oh,
I have to find it. So where do we find a song? Would I find that on that Facebook page?
Oh, I can share this link quickly.
Here it is.
Oh, I can't share the link, can I?
Advanced AI technology like AI-powered field cameras, risk modeling software, advanced weather stations, and drones and helicopters to inspect power lines in high-risk areas. When
Into Nothingness. This has got to be a good one. Right?
Let me just paste the thing.
He gets the urge to jump in front of trains when it rains. And if he does, or if he don't, to him it's the same thing. He's an affable chap, he's a regular guy, but he's strange. Nobody knew it was coming. Nobody knew it was coming. Slip down into the nothingness. Slip down into the nothingness. He was a preacher in South Dakota, married at the age of 16. Many rooms, too fat to move, and he loves her even more today. Looks up to the skies when he's angry, listens and smiles in her way, stares at the clouds. She listens and smiles in her way. Nobody knew it was coming. Nobody knew it was coming. Slip down into the nothingness. Slip down into the nothingness. Oh, slip